Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Taiwan chip industry pushes government to speed up renewables. Race to fix crumbling ship threatens conflict in South China Sea. How Sunak's Bletchley Park Summit aims to shape global AI safety. Cruise stops all driverless taxi operations in the United States. Japan's Nikkei rebounds from worst day in 3 weeks, chip stocks lead gains. Taiwan chip industry pushes government to speed up renewables. Yahoo! Taiwan's semiconductor industry is looking to the government to help it develop new energy sources to meet the booming demand for artificial intelligence, according to Cliff Ho, a senior vice president at Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. The industry is willing to cooperate with the government to achieve the nation's goal of net zero emissions by 2050, he said. Taiwan imports almost all its energy needs, mainly natural gas and coal, but is making a push for more renewable energy. Race to fix crumbling ship threatens conflict in South China Sea. Bloomberg. Tensions between China and the Philippines have risen in recent months as the Philippines pushes back against Chinese incursions in its exclusive economic zone. On 2 separate occasions, boats from the 2 countries collided as the Philippines attempted to resupply a dilapidated ship it uses to reinforce its territorial claims. The U.S. has demonstrated its commitment to the Philippines, emphasizing its ironclad defense commitment. The situation in the South China Sea is seen as far more dangerous than the Taiwan Strait, with some former officials predicting that the situation will only worsen. How Sunak's Bletchley Park Summit aims to shape global AI safety. Financial Times. The UK is set to host the first international summit on AI safety next week at Bletchley Park. The summit comes amid concerns over the potential abuse of AI, including the spread of misinformation, bias, and cyber attacks. The UK hopes to establish principles to govern the development of AI before it outpaces efforts to control it. Political leaders from around 28 countries, including the US, Europe, Singapore, the Gulf states, and China, are expected to attend, as well as top executives from big tech companies and leading AI developers. However, the summit's exclusive guest list has drawn criticism from some organizations and executives outside the tech industry who feel excluded from the meeting. The summit will focus on practical ways to address safety, with discussions on best practice standards for companies. The UK is also keen to independently evaluate AI models and is negotiating with tech companies for deeper access to their systems. A government paper to be published on Friday will provide recommendations for building AI responsibly. Cruise stops all driverless taxi operations in the United States. New York Times. Cruise, the autonomous vehicle subsidiary of General Motors, has announced it will halt all driverless operations in the U.S. following a decision by California regulators to suspend its license. The move will affect Cruise's robot taxi services in Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Dallas, Houston, and Miami. Testing of driverless vehicles with a safety driver will continue. The decision is a significant setback for Cruise, which had been expanding its operations in San Francisco and Phoenix, with plans to test vehicles in Nashville and Seattle. The California Department of Motor Vehicles suspended Cruise's license after a car dragged a pedestrian 20 feet after a collision. Japan's Nikkei rebounds from worst day in 3 weeks, chip stocks lead gains. Yahoo! Japan's Nikkei rose 1.5% following its worst day in 3 weeks in the previous session, with chip-related stocks leading the recovery. Chip testing equipment maker Advantest rose 1.73% after a 7% decline in the previous session. Chip-making equipment maker Tokyo Electron rose 1.76% and silicon wafer maker Shin-Etsu Chemical jumped 3.11%. US can't halt SMIC, Huawei's chip advances, industry guru says. Bloomberg. Chinese companies like Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC, and Huawei will continue to make progress in chip technology, despite attempts by the U.S. to contain China's tech ascent, according to Bern J. Lin, a former TSMC vice president. He said SMIC could advance to the next generation of chips using machines from ASML Holding that it already operates. Lin suggested that the U.S. should focus on maintaining its chip design leadership instead of trying to limit China's progress, as the country is adopting a whole-nation strategy to boost its chip industry. Tesla reverses China price cut, adding $2,000 to Model Y variant. Bloomberg. Tesla has increased the price of its Model Y performance SUV in China by around $2,000, reversing a reduction made just 2 months ago. The advanced variant of the electric SUV now costs 363,900 Chinese yuan, $49,740, up from 349,900 Chinese yuan. The price increase comes as Tesla upgraded some features of the Model Y in China earlier this month. This move follows a trend of on and off price wars among electric vehicle makers in China, with Tesla having initiated the price war. Tesla also raised the price of its Model Y long-range all-wheel drive in the US by $500. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, bringing you the latest news and updates from around the globe. Today, we have an interesting mix of stories that touch on renewable energy, international tensions, artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, and even a price war in the electric vehicle market. Let's dive right in. First up, we have Taiwan's chip industry pushing the government to speed up renewables. With the booming demand for artificial intelligence, the semiconductor industry is looking to develop new energy sources. They are willing to cooperate with the government to achieve Taiwan's goal of net zero emissions by 2050. It's great to see industries taking steps towards sustainability and working hand in hand with the government. Next, tensions in the South China Sea between China and the Philippines are heating up. The Philippines is pushing back against Chinese incursions in its exclusive economic zone, leading to clashes between boats from the two countries. The situation is seen as more dangerous than the Taiwan Strait, with some experts predicting it will worsen. This highlights the importance of diplomacy and peaceful resolution of territorial disputes. Moving on, the UK is hosting the first international summit on AI safety. With concerns over the potential abuse of AI, including misinformation and cyber attacks, the summit aims to establish principles to govern its development. Political leaders and top executives from around the world are expected to attend. However, the exclusive guest list has drawn criticism from some outside the tech industry who feel excluded. It's crucial to involve a diverse range of stakeholders in discussions about AI to ensure a balanced approach. In the world of autonomous vehicles, Cruise, the autonomous vehicle subsidiary of General Motors, has announced it will halt all driverless operations in the U.S. This comes after California regulators suspended its license following a pedestrian collision. While testing with safety drivers will continue, it's a setback for Cruise, which had been expanding its operations. Safety should always be a top priority when it comes to autonomous vehicles, and it's important to address any concerns or issues that arise. Shifting gears to the stock market, Japan's Nikkei rebounded after its worst day in 3 weeks, with chip-related stocks leading the recovery. Chip-making companies like Advantest, Tokyo Electron, and Shinetsu Chemical saw gains. This shows the resilience of the chip industry, which continues to play a crucial role in various sectors. Lastly, Tesla has reversed its price cut in China, adding $2,000 to the Model Y performance SUV. This comes just 2 months after a reduction in price. Tesla's move follows a trend of price wars among electric vehicle makers in China. It's a competitive market, and companies are constantly adjusting their pricing strategies to stay ahead. That's a wrap on today's news. It's fascinating to see the progress and challenges in various industries around the world. From renewable energy to international tensions, AI safety to autonomous vehicles, and even the electric vehicle market, there's never a dull moment. As always, I invite you, my dear viewers, to share your thoughts and questions. What do you make of these stories? Do you have any insights or opinions to add? Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.